My girlfriend warned me. Don't come to my graduation, my ex-class fellow will be there. It'll be awkward. I smiled and replied, as you wish. She had no idea that the new regional director the university had invited as the special guest was me. When I sat in the front row and her eyes suddenly landed on me, her face went pale in an instant. I'm Nathan, 32, and I've spent the last 8 years building my career in educational technology from the ground up. Started as a junior consultant, worked my way to project lead, then department head, and 6 months ago, I landed the role of regional director for EdTech solutions across 5 states. It's the kind of position that comes with corner offices, speaking invitations, and apparently, the power to make your girlfriend's face drain of color from 50 feet away. I met Lily 3 years ago at a conference where I was presenting on digital learning platforms. She was finishing her master's degree in education and approached me afterward with thoughtful questions about implementation strategies. She was brilliant, funny, and had this infectious enthusiasm about reforming classroom technology. We exchanged numbers. 6 weeks later, we were official. Our relationship had always been good. Or so I thought. We lived separately but spent most weekends together. She knew about my work, attended some company events, understood the demands of my schedule. But here's the thing. Lily never really grasped the full scope of my role. When I got promoted to regional director, I told her, celebrated with dinner, mentioned the new responsibilities. But I don't think she ever connected the dots about what regional director actually meant in practical terms. To her, I was just Nathan, the guy who worked in educational tech and occasionally traveled for meetings. 3 weeks ago, she called me while I was reviewing proposals in my office. Hey, so I need to tell you something about graduation, she said, her voice carrying that careful tone people use when they're about to deliver bad news. What's up? It's just, there's going to be this guy there. Cameron. We were in the same program, and things got kind of messy between us last semester. I leaned back in my chair. Messy how? Nothing happened, she said quickly. But he had feelings for me, made it weird, and I just don't want any drama. You know how graduation is. Lots of photos, families everywhere, emotions running high. Okay, I said slowly. What are you suggesting? Maybe it's better if you skip it? I know that sounds bad, but it would just be awkward with Cameron there, and I don't want to deal with that tension on what's supposed to be a good day. I felt something cold settle in my chest. You're asking me not to come to your graduation because some guy had a crush on you? It's not just that. His whole family will be there too, and they know about the situation, and I just think it would make everything uncomfortable. For who? For him. For everyone, Nathan. Please don't make this harder than it is. I stared at the invitation sitting on my desk, the official one from Riverside University, embossed with gold lettering, requesting the presence of Regional Director Nathan Cross as the keynote speaker for the Graduate School of Education commencement ceremony. They'd contacted me 2 months ago. I'd accepted immediately, partly because I loved speaking to new graduates, and partly because I knew it was Lily's ceremony. I'd kept it as a surprise, planning to tell her a few days before. Fine, I said quietly. As you wish. Thank you, she breathed out, relief flooding her voice. I knew you'd understand. We'll celebrate after, just the two of us. I'll make it up to you. We hung up. I sat there for a long moment, then called my assistant. The Riverside commencement speech. Confirm I'm still on the schedule. And don't mention this to anyone who might know Lily Harper. The next 2 weeks were strange. Lily and I talked regularly, but something felt off. She mentioned graduation constantly. Her dress, her nerves, which professors would be there, but never once asked about my work or seemed curious why I wasn't more disappointed about missing it. It was like she'd compartmentalized me entirely. 4 days before the ceremony, I bumped into her roommate, Priya, at a coffee shop near my office. Nathan. Hey. She hugged me, then pulled back with a confused expression. Are you excited about Saturday? I am, I said carefully. It's so cool that you're speaking. Lily must be dying keeping it secret. I would have blurted it out immediately. My stomach dropped. She knows. Priya's face changed. Oh no. Oh shit. You didn't know that she knows. How long has she known? I thought. Priya stammered. Look, I shouldn't have said anything. Priya. How long? She sighed. Cameron mentioned it to her like 10 days ago. He's working as a TA in the department office, saw the speaker list. He told Lily that her boyfriend was giving the keynote, and she kind of freaked out. Freaked out how? She told him you weren't her boyfriend anymore. That you'd broken up. The coffee shop noise faded into background static. She told Cameron we broke up. Nathan, I don't know what's going on, but we're still together, Priya. We talk every day. I saw her 3 days ago. Priya's hand went to her mouth. Oh my God. I left the coffee shop and walked 8 blocks back to my office without feeling my legs move. The pieces fell into place with brutal clarity. Lily had asked me not to come because she'd been telling Cameron, and probably others, that we weren't together anymore. She wanted to keep up that fiction for graduation, probably to keep her options open with Cameron, or to avoid the embarrassment of the lie, or maybe both. And when she found out I was the keynote speaker, instead of coming clean, she doubled down, told me to stay away. Saturday morning arrived clear and bright. I put on my best suit, the charcoal gray one Lily always said made me look distinguished. My speech was loaded on my phone, rehearsed, but not memorized. Natural, professional, the kind of thing that would inspire a couple hundred graduate students while subtly destroying one person's entire charade. I arrived at Riverside University an hour early and was immediately swept into the VIP reception with the university president, dean, and board members. They were effusive in their thanks for coming. Through the window, I could see graduates and families gathering outside the auditorium. We're so pleased you could make time for this, the dean said. Your work in educational technology is exactly the kind of real-world success story our students need to hear. Happy to be here, I replied. This program means a lot to me. Personal connections. At 10 minutes to 11, they escorted me to the stage. The auditorium was packed, easily 800 people. Graduates in their regalia filled the center section. I took my seat in the front row of the stage, slightly to the left, with a clear view of the entire graduating class. That's when I saw her. Lily was sitting in the third row, right side. Her dark hair was curled, her makeup perfect. She was laughing at something the person next to her said. Then, as if feeling eyes on her, she glanced toward the stage. Our eyes met. I watched the color drain from her face in real time. Her mouth opened slightly. The person next to her, a tall guy with sandy hair who had to be Cameron, leaned over to ask something, but Lily didn't respond. She was frozen, staring at me with the expression of someone who'd just watched their carefully constructed house of cards burst into flames. I didn't smile, didn't wave, just held her gaze for 3 long seconds, then calmly looked away as the ceremony began. The university president gave welcoming remarks. The dean spoke about the graduating class's achievements. And then they introduced me. It is our tremendous honor to welcome our keynote speaker, Mr. Nathan Cross, Regional Director of EdTech Solutions and a pioneering voice in the integration of technology and learning. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Cross to the stage. Applause filled the auditorium. I stood, walked to the podium, and looked out at the sea of faces. Found Lily's again. She looked like she might be sick. I delivered my speech exactly as planned. Talked about the intersection of passion and innovation in education. Shared stories about teachers who'd transformed their classrooms with the right tools. Encouraged the graduates to stay curious, stay bold, and never underestimate the impact they could have. It was a good speech. People laughed in the right places, fell quiet during the serious moments, and gave genuine applause at the end. Not once did I mention Lily specifically, but I made sure to catch her eye twice during the 20-minute speech. Each time, she looked more miserable. After the ceremony concluded and graduates were released to find their families, I was immediately surrounded by students wanting to talk, ask questions, exchange LinkedIn information. Faculty members shook my hand. The university president invited me to a donor lunch in 2 weeks. Through it all, I kept peripheral awareness of Lily's location. She was standing with Cameron and an older couple who had to be his parents, but her eyes kept darting to me. She looked trapped. Finally, after about 40 minutes, she appeared at the edge of my conversation circle. Up close, I could see her hands were shaking. Nathan, she said quietly, can we talk? I excused myself from the faculty member I'd been chatting with and stepped aside with her, though we were still very much in public view. Congratulations on graduating, I said evenly. You knew, she whispered. You knew you were speaking here. I've known for 2 months. I was invited in March. Why didn't you tell me? I let out a short laugh. Why didn't I tell you? Lily, you asked me not to come to your graduation. You told me it would be awkward because of Cameron. But you forgot to mention that you've been telling Cameron we broke up. Her face went white again. Who told you that? Does it matter? Is it true? She opened her mouth, closed it. It's complicated. It's really not. Either you told people we weren't together anymore, or you didn't. Cameron was making things difficult. He kept asking me out, and I told him I was single so he'd back off. And then you found out I was speaking here, and instead of coming clean to anyone, you tried to keep me away so your lie wouldn't be exposed. That's not, she stopped. Tears welled in her eyes. I was going to fix it. When? After Cameron and his whole family spent graduation thinking you were available? After you collected your degree and celebrated without me there? Exactly when were you planning to fix it? Cameron appeared beside Lily, his hand touching her elbow. Everything okay here? I looked at him with the pleasant, professional smile I used in board meetings. Everything's fine. Just congratulating Lily on her graduation. Oh. He glanced between us, clearly sensing tension. Yeah, it's a big day. He looked at Lily. My parents want to get lunch. You still coming? Lily's eyes pleaded with me. I waited to see what she'd say. I need a few more minutes, she told Cameron. Sure, yeah. We'll be by the fountain. He walked away, looking back once. When we were alone again, or as alone as two people could be in a crowded auditorium, Lily wiped at her eyes. I messed up, she said. I know I did. But we can fix this, Nathan. We're good together. We were together, I corrected. Past tense. You ended this the moment you told people I didn't exist in your life anymore. I never said you didn't exist. You told Cameron we broke up, Lily. You asked me to skip your graduation so you could maintain that fiction. And when you found out I'd be here anyway, you still didn't come clean. You tried to keep me away. That's not a mistake. That's a choice. Multiple choices, actually. She reached for my hand. I stepped back. Please, she whispered. Don't do this here. You chose the location. Not me. A campus photographer approached, asking if I'd take photos with some graduates. I agreed immediately, grateful for the exit. As I posed for pictures and chatted with proud students, I saw Lily walk toward the fountain where Cameron and his family waited. She looked back once. I didn't acknowledge it. That was 3 weeks ago. Lily texted me 17 times that evening, called 4 times the next day. I responded once, after the first day, we're done. Please don't contact me again. She stopped after that. But Priya reached out last week to tell me Lily had moved back home to her parents' house, heartbroken and humiliated. Apparently, the story spread through her graduate program within days, about how she'd lied about her relationship status and tried to keep her successful boyfriend away from her own graduation. Cameron, according to Priya, wanted nothing to do with her after learning the truth. I feel lighter, honestly, like I'd been carrying something heavy without realizing it, and suddenly it's gone. My work is good. My team respects me. I'm getting invited to speak at 3 more universities this year. And when people ask if I'm seeing anyone, I tell them the truth. I'm single, focused on my career, and not interested in anyone who would treat me like an inconvenient secret. Lily wanted to avoid awkwardness at her graduation. Instead, she created the most awkward moment of her life. Sometimes the things we try hardest to avoid are exactly what we manifest. As for me, I'm doing just fine in the front row.